So this is the first trial of immunotherapy that's been undertaken by the APITG. It's been a somewhat frustrating time in treating gastrointestinal cancers because many of the cancers, including bowel cancer, are fairly resistant to, or most forms of bowel cancer are fairly resistant to immunotherapy. Whereas in contrast, my colleagues who are treating melanoma and lung cancer and a range of other tumour types are using immunotherapy quite frequently. And what we're finding also is that patients are coming in and they'd far prefer to have immunotherapy rather than chemotherapy. One of the issues is that we're treating microsatellite stable metastatic bowel cancer, which is the most common group. It's 97% of patients. And what we find with that group is that they're pretty much completely resistant to immunotherapy in its current form, which is generally using these so-called checkpoint inhibitors, which stimulate the T cells. And the reason for that is that we find that the T cells only get to the outside of the tumour, or they don't even get near the tumour at all. So they're so-called immune excluded or the immune desert. And so a strategy, which is what's used in other tumour types like melanoma and lung cancer, where you activate the T cells, doesn't work in bowel cancer because the T cells aren't there. And logically, if they're not there, it doesn't matter whether you activate them or not because they're not going to have an effect on the tumour. And so the strategy we've taken in the MODULATE study is to add in an additional drug, which we hope is going to enable T cells to traffic into the tumour. And then once they're in the tumour, we'll activate them with a conventional checkpoint inhibitor. So really we're sort of testing two things. So we're trying to get T cells into the tumour and then also activate them. And so as part of that process, we're doing biopsies. So we're doing a biopsy before we start, and we're doing biopsies of patients on treatment to enable us to see whether the T cells are getting in. The primary endpoint of the study, the main point, is to see whether tumours will actually respond to the treatment. It's quite an experimental treatment, it may not, but we would be happy if the strategies do demonstrate that at least we can get T cells in, because that would be one step of the way towards developing immunotherapy for these type of cancers. So it's quite an experimental study. So to take part in the study, we're saying really you've got to have failed all your standard treatments. So these are patients who have no other treatments available. So if we saw a signal in the study, so we would then be in a position to test that in a bigger study, and we'd test it against possibly either best supportive care. We've done those studies in the past, or some of the other treatments that are used in the last line setting that typically don't have much activity. So that would be a strategy, but I think also it may be a strategy that could be taken to other tumours where there is an immune excluded or an immune desert phenotype to try and reverse that process there too.